The race to be the next mayor of New York City has a familiar face. Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang announced that he is running, and he joins an already crowded Democratic primary. Many consider Yang to be a top contender due to his name recognition and large following from his time on the campaign trail. But will that be enough come June? For more on his bid, Andrew Yang is here joining me now. Mr. Yang, good to see you. So you had, by many measures, a successful primary. Even if not victorious, you became friendly with several of the other candidates. And following your election, your name was actually discussed for potential cabinet roles. So why are you running for New York mayor instead of joining the Biden-Harris administration?
Well, first, let's celebrate the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm still riding high from that, Lana. But I'm running for mayor of New York City because the city's in crisis, and I believe I can help. The reality is that the coronavirus has devastated New York in a way that's singular throughout the country. We're down 700,000 jobs. The unemployment level is twice the national average. Over 25,000 New Yorkers' lives have been lost. And I think I can speed up our comeback from the coronavirus. I think I can help make New York City the post-COVID comeback city it's going to need to be in order for so many New Yorkers to reclaim our lives.
So let's talk about that. I'm wondering what specifically you believe you can do to help New York City recover from the pandemic.
New York City is all about people coming together, Lana, and we need to get the vaccines into people's hands and arms and bodies over the next number of days. But even after you have a number of people vaccinated, the question is, how will people feel comfortable coming together in a restaurant or bar or Broadway theater? And so one way we can accelerate that process is by having a vaccine passport that you can have on your smartphone, where you can just very quickly demonstrate that you've been vaccinated. Then you can go into that restaurant or venue and then take your mask off and literally breathe easier, knowing that everyone there has been vaccinated. That's the kind of measure that New York City is going to need to accelerate the comeback. Because the city is dependent upon people feeling confident they can come together. As one number, we're missing 60 million tourists who supported over 300,000 jobs here in New York. I think that I can accelerate the process through which people feel excited to come back to New York.
And what about vaccinations? We know that New York City has struggled to keep pace with the number of people who are in the categories that are currently eligible to receive vaccines, and that there simply isn't enough supply either in the state or in the city. What would you do about that?
It's immensely frustrating for so many New Yorkers, Lana. People had their appointments canceled. And to me, it's common sense that you would want New York City, which is the most densely populated city in the country, to have these vaccines at least as early as any other part of the country. So we need to be moving heaven and earth to get vaccines to folks right here in New York City. And then as they get vaccinated, the hope is that we can streamline this process, because right now people are frustrated. It's a bit of a hodgepodge in terms of being able to figure out where you should go to get vaccinated and when.
You're always about thinking outside of the box. I heard you say that you would like to utilize ice cream trucks that aren't being used right now because of the winter time to do mobile vaccination units. Trevor Noah says that you stole that ice cream truck idea from him. Care to respond?
Well, Trevor's full of good ideas. But it's not a new idea for either Trevor or me. There are actually communities that are already repurposing ice cream trucks to distribute vaccines, because they have obviously refrigeration capacity and many of them aren't in use right now. So we need to be trying to get vaccines to people in their neighborhoods. The reality is that many New Yorkers aren't that mobile. They may be old and infirm. They might not be able to easily hop on a subway or bus. So if we can get a vaccine to them in their parking lot close to their building, either via a vehicle or by having a site that's right on their block, that's what we have to do. This is a city of over 8 million people in very, very different circumstances. And if they can't come to the vaccine should go to them.